in a world where the heartbeat of nature synchronizes with the rhythm of our hearts. Last year, during our Invest in Earth Day initiative, Impact Ecosystem united nonprofit leaders, impact-driven entrepreneurs, and individuals committed to investing in our shared home, planet Earth. Connections were forged and aspirations were shared. This year, we're back with Invest in Earth Day 2.0, happening on April 16th and 17th, 2024, leading up to Earth Day on April 22nd. But this time, we're not merely dreaming of a better world, we're actively constructing it. Join us for a collaborative brainstorming and networking workshop on the transformative power of donor money. It's a collaborative opportunity where regenerative, philanthropic, and positive impact organizations converge to innovate and inspire. At Invest in Earth Day 2024, we're showcasing how money can transcend transactional value, becoming a force for meaningful change. Each participating individual will receive a philanthropic gift card worth $250, and participating organizations will receive a minimum grant of at least $1,000 of donor money, symbolizing our commitment to empower individuals, communities, and ecosystems. With every exchange of donor money, we're co-authoring a new narrative in the guardianship of our shared home. By embracing money with purpose, we're forging pathways to a future where humanity and the planet thrive in harmony. In this journey, every contribution, no matter its size, holds significance. It's about collectively nurturing our Earth and uplifting each other. Join us in embracing money with meaning. Be part of Invest in Earth Day 2024, where we co-create a future where our planet flourishes and our spirits soar.
Impact Ecosystem is more than just a sponsor. They're driving force behind Invest in Earth Day and donor money. Impact Ecosystem truly believes that positive change is possible when we work together, share resources, and leverage our collective impact. So speaking of collaboration, I'm honored to introduce the visionary leader behind Impact Ecosystem, Matt Elston.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. So first, we have a quick poll just to see where everyone's from. All right, so I just want to find out where everyone's from. Are you coming from a for-profit, company, impact company, a nonprofit? Are you affiliated with both? Are you affiliated with neither? We're going to have this as a very collaborative event. So hopefully everyone's sort of in a position to answer polls quickly, because I don't want to take too much time on it. I want to get to the heart of the matter and keep things moving and be respectful of everyone's time. So a little more than half the people have answered, it looks like, so far. I'm going to end it shortly. So if you can give us an answer, that's great. I know there's probably a few AI note takers on here as well. All right, so let's go ahead and end that. So here's the results. So cool. So it looks like we're pretty evenly split. Some people, about a third of the people are both impact organizations and nonprofits. Some are just nonprofits, and some are for-profit impact-related companies, and a couple of you are neither. So thank you for everyone for joining regardless. I believe we really have to collaborate together. I don't think it's either for-profit, nonprofit. I believe, both need to work together. All right, so we have a number of themes that we're going to discuss today. Money, most people use it. Our cultural immune system, what keeps us from changing for better? Innovation, are nonprofits or for-profit businesses typically more innovative? Collaboration and competition, how does that affect nonprofits? Are nonprofits going to be more effective if they're collaborating or competing with each other? And how can we get them collaborating? Currencies can influence people, they can unite people, and they can also redistribute purchasing power. And we're also going to discuss money as a tool for good. So this is a quiz. There's, I believe, 6 questions. So if you guys can go through and answer these questions, see how much you guys know about different currencies. How much was United Airlines Mileage Plus loyalty program valued at in 2020? How many Bitcoin exchange traded ETFs has the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission approved this year? What is the total cryptocurrency market capitalization, approximate, right now? True or false? Most major US nonprofits accept cryptocurrency donations. How much cryptocurrency has been donated to nonprofits? And how much would a $1,000 gift of Bitcoin in May of 2010 be worth today if the recipient had not sold it? So if you know what, $1,000 of Bitcoin in 2010, what's it worth today? Questions are designed to kind of see what your knowledge is, get you guys thinking a little bit, show you some of the powers of currency and some of the possibilities. So it looks like we have a good range of answers. It looks like about a third of the people have participated. Got a few more still being tallied. Okay, here we go. All right. So the first one, how much was United Airlines Mileage Plus loyalty program valued at in 2020? It was, the correct answer was 20 million or 20 billion, excuse me. So only 4 of you guessed that amount. They were actually able to borrow $5 billion when COVID hit against the $20 billion valuation of their their currency program, their Mileage Plus currency. All right, how many Bitcoin exchange traded ETFs is the United States Securities Commission, the SEC, approved this year? Almost half of you guys got this right. So the correct answer is 11. So the point of that is that Bitcoin is becoming more mainstream. They didn't endorse Bitcoin. They're not telling you to go out and invest in it, but they're giving you the option to invest in it. And that's pretty significant. What is the total cryptocurrency market capitalization currently? It is, again, 40% of you guys got this correct. It's 2.4 trillion, just over that today. So lots of money has been generated in cryptocurrency. There's actually approximately 100 cryptocurrencies with a $1 billion valuation. So it's not just all about Bitcoin. All right, most major US nonprofits accept Bitcoin or accept cryptocurrency donations. They don't accept everyone, but this is true according to a Philanthropy Digest article that I think pulled some information from the Giving Block. So 56% of large US nonprofits currently accept cryptocurrency in some form of cryptocurrency. All right, how much cryptocurrency has been donated to nonprofits? Again, according to the same article, pulling on information from the Giving Block as of January, or actually this year, since 2018, $2 billion has been donated in cryptocurrency. So that's a really small, it's a large amount, but it's a really small amount compared to the whole crypto pie. So if the crypto pie is about this big, it's a very little thin slice, that has actually been donated to nonprofits. So, something on the order of 0.1% of crypto market cap has been donated to nonprofits. So there's a lot of crypto wealth that's been created that hasn't gone to nonprofits, but 2 billion still has gone to nonprofits. All right, how much would a $1,000, how much was of $1,000 of Bitcoin in 2010? How much is it worth today? 4 of you guys got this right. Correct answer is $15 billion. So $1,000 of Bitcoin is in 2010. That's when Pizza Day is celebrated. Bitcoin Pizza Day is now worth $15 billion. Someone paid for 2 pizzas with 10,000 Bitcoin back in May of 2010. And now Bitcoin's like about $63,000, $64,000 per 1 Bitcoin. I think a lot of you hopefully learned something just now, and can put some of the possibilities into perspective. The format today, we're going to introduce topics. There's 4 of them. We're going to have collaborative breakout sessions, and then we're going to have a whiteboard discussion. So the topics: what are the impediments to positive change? Loyalty, currency, success stories, mileage plus program. So that's a branded currency, United Miles, airline miles. Bitcoin, and what would an ideal impact currency look like? A positive impact or philanthropic currency, what would that look like? All right, so the first topic here, what holds individuals and organizations back from making positive change? All right, I added this morning actually on LinkedIn. I saw Sunil Unka, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He posted that the #1 risk factor for change is organ rejection from the cultural immune system. The real key point here is the cultural immune system is our cultural norms that people aren't willing to give up. This really poses the biggest barrier to change. And if you don't really understand the culture, you probably don't have much chance to change it. And this really involves understanding the emotional landscape that you walk into when you're dealing with a culture and you want to change it. I feel this is relevant to today's discussion because I think we need to see some change in the world. If you go back historically, President Bush in 1992, before or at the COP in Rio de Janeiro, he said the American lifestyle is non-negotiable. In essence, we don't want to give up our cars, our fossil fuel driven cars. We want to keep consuming. We want to keep extracting. And we want sort of a linear economy rather than a circular economy. So we've really actually doubled down on consumerism and energy use since 1992. So we didn't just maintain our American lifestyle, we've actually enhanced it, increased it. Nate Hagen's, who has the Great Simplification podcast, if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. He kind of refers to this as the unstoppable superorganism. So we're going to go into breakout rooms now. And the question I want you to ask is, how can we improve ourselves and our organization? And think about, too, what's sort of stopping us from improving? What sort of cultural norms are, stopping us from doing that? So let's see. Why don't we create some breakout rooms and explore that? I hope everyone's ready to meet each other. If you want to jump in and start typing some comments, what came up in your room? Change is quantized. That's interesting. I think that's Drea shared that. Thank you, Drea.
Yeah, we study behavior change at Stanford, and the predictive models are not predictive. So they only count for 30 to 60% of change. And the current theory is that it could be quantum. So ability to predict it makes it hard to affect.
Okay. Yeah, because if you can't predict it, you don't know what's causing it.
The current theory is like popcorn. So you got to heat the griddle, but you don't know which kernel's going to pop first.
Got it. That's interesting. All right, let's see. Brian, did you add something there? I have a big screen, but it's so hard for me to read that, actually. If you want to jump in, Brian. Brian was one of our participants last year. I had an awesome time with you. And I've been following you a lot on LinkedIn. I know we haven't actually connected much recently. I forget, it's Ocean Conservation. What's the name of the foundation that you're with?
We're with the Marine Permaculture at the Climate Foundation, and we're starting in the Philippines, but quickly moving to the Indo-Pacific across, I would say, from the west coast of the US all the way through to the Bay of Bengal and even the Mediterranean Sea.
Awesome. And so
what I meant to say was there are no non-radical futures for humanity. Either we radically change now voluntarily, or nature will radically change civilization in the future.
That's quite consistent with like Nate Hagens and some other thinkers out there, more progressive thinkers. You know, he calls it the great simplification. It will probably happen, you know, obviously no one knows exactly what it'll look like, right? But he thinks it will unfortunately be non-voluntary, but he's trying to make us do it in a voluntary, you know, and sort of open up some paths for that. Comfort prevents change. I like that. You know, we are very comfortable. You know, I think in some ways we're, you know, my generation maybe has lived through the golden age of humanity. And, you know, at least here in the United States, I'm not saying that's the case for everywhere, and we have a lot of problems and whatnot, but we're very comfortable right now, and we've increased comfort, we've increased convenience, and there's a lot of positive things, and quite a number of those have been from fossil fuels. I'm not discounting the benefits of fossil fuels, but they're a non-renewable resource and they have side effects, and fossil fuels aren't the only issue out there. You know, some of our plastics, we haven't sort of touched on it. We're not going to get too much into specific topics, but the theme for Earth Day this year is planet versus plastics. And we're just overwhelming the planet with plastics. I mean, it's one thing to do it for a couple generations, but could we produce this level of plastics and plastic waste and plastic pollution for 5 generations, 7 generations, 10 generations, 100 generations? I don't think so. All right, let's see. Rigid identity, people think it's a personal attack to change. That's a great point, Nira. You know, conscious choices, lasting impact. I'm not seeing who put that up there. Oh, maybe Rima did. All right, thank you, Rima. That's good. Anything else that anyone wants to share, either up on the whiteboard here? Conscious choices, lasting impact. So actually, he was one of our participants last year doing a fantastic startup in India, trying to get people to basically buy better products that are more regenerative, more renewable. You want to tell us what you mean by conscious choices? I mean, conscious choices, lasting impact. So I get that part of it. So that's not, you're sort of tackling the, how can we change? What's going to motivate people to change? Is that, am I getting that correctly? So let's go right into topic 2, United Airline miles. And it's really a success story for United Airlines. I'm not sure it's a success story for the planet, but it is a success story for the United Airlines. So we want to explore, how were they successful? How were they able to build a $20 billion loyalty program, right? And a couple questions. Does your nonprofit accept donations of loyalty program currencies? I didn't actually put that up in a poll, I don't believe. And does your nonprofit have a loyalty or gift card program, or your impact startup? It's hard to do it on smaller scale. It's much easier. There's economies of scale for big companies to do this. But you know, what did United Airlines do to be able to do that? And I think we do have a few poll questions. Abhishek, are you able to get those up, or do you want me to pull those in? Oh, there we go. Good. All right. So some questions about your alternative currency awareness. Different alternative currencies have different goals. In which of the following goals are you aware of at least one successful, widely used alternative currency? So you have credit card points that they encourage you to buy more, spend more, right? Lots of loyalty programs do that. You know, it could be a restaurant has a loyalty program. They want you to come there and eat more, you know, buy more food from them. There's travel more with airlines, right? And none of the above. So I'm asking not just awareness of the program, but sort of successful. All right, so we got some people answering. Few more answers coming in, so I'll give you guys a little bit more time there.
Hi, it's Looney.
Hey,
Can you
Looney.
explain how the loyalty program has a positive value instead of being a giant liability on United's balance sheet?
Well, okay, so I wasn't going to get into those details, but I'll touch on it. So United Airlines, it is a liability. So the miles that are out, because they're issuing them like a gift card, they're agreeing to redeem them. So it is a liability on their balance sheet, but it produces quite a bit of their revenue, right? They sell miles to the credit card companies, right? Some think they sell them for a little over a penny a point. Maybe the credit card companies get a little bit better deal. Some smaller partners maybe pay as much as a penny and a half a point, or a mile, I should say, in that case. So it actually generates a lot of revenue for them. It also, the customers that are part of the frequent flyer program, their Mileage Plus program, tend to fly more, they spend more. It allows them to price differentiate. So they can kind of sell seats at different prices without showing a different price, you know, so they can focus who they're selling it to, and you know, charge a different price. So, you know, it drives a lot of their business, and they actually have the a holding company for the Mileage Plus program. So in 2020, that was the company that actually got the $5 billion loan. So does that kind of the answer you were looking for?
That's good. That was all good. Thanks.
Yeah, cool. All right. About half of you are aware of credit card points, successful credit card point programs. Similar number are aware of philanthropic gift cards. So Tis Best, Global Giving, they both have gift card programs. They really don't compare in size compared to, say, United Airlines. Most of the major airlines have successful programs. I think United is probably the most successful, but American Airlines has a pretty big program as well. And some of you aren't aware of any programs, and that's cool. So that's what we're here today to talk about a little bit. All right, so moving right along here.
Could I ask a question? Philanthropic, is that like a credit card that instead of getting either, you know, cash or miles, your purchases would enable you to make a donation?
No, but there are some credit cards that do something like that. So I guess you could throw that into that category. There are some, like, you know, that will give like your 1% instead of cash back, they will donate it to a charity. So yes, there are some programs there. Those are sort of newer. But Tis Best out of Seattle has had a philanthropic gift card. What they actually do is they set up a donor advised fund on the back end. And when you purchase the gift card, they put that money into a donor advised fund. So the purchaser of the gift card gets the tax write-off, right? And then they, in essence, whoever owns or receives the gift card is the advisor for that donor advised fund. So for those of you who don't know what donor advised funds are, there's over 200 billion in assets in donor advised funds in the United States. When you make the donation, you're making the donation to a nonprofit. The money is out of your pocket, it's out of your wallet, and it's into theirs. But you have two powers. One power is to recommend who gets the grant from that fund. And the other power is how it's invested, although that power can be limited quite a bit. by the donor advised fund sponsor. So each donor advised fund sponsor can have their own rules and decide what investment options they're going to give you. And they can even restrict your granting, because ultimately you're only making recommendations. So yeah, so that's kind of what I meant by the philanthropic gift card. And to just jump ahead a little bit, since we're talking about it right now, donor money, which we've been working on, is a philanthropic gift card currency. So your typical philanthropic gift card, like the TISBEST or Global Giving gift card, are denominated in dollars, right? US dollars in those cases. It could be other, government currencies. We are actually creating our own currency akin to Bitcoin. All right, maybe some of you guys looked at some of these stats while I was talking. I'm not going to go over it, but basically, loyalty programs drive business success. And United received in 2020 a $5 billion loan on their loyalty program that was valued at $20 billion when cash flows stopped coming in. There's lots of different ways you can redeem your miles. So you can buy gift cards. You can go to a Broadway show. There's merchandise shopping that you can do. You can buy Apple products. You can do hotel awards, cruise awards. You can use it for their club. You can actually buy miles. You can transfer them, and you can even donate miles. So yeah, so that's some of the ways that you can use your miles. So it's not just about taking airline flights. So the first choice is businesses paying for miles employees can use personally. In essence, businesses paying for employee travel or reimbursing their credit cards, so they're indirectly paying for those miles. The credit card tie-ins, the credit card partners that are purchasing miles from United Airlines and then awarding them to their customers for spending money. The wide range of redemption options that we showed a slide of, and the value proposition of earning of earning and redeeming miles versus using cash. So sometimes we see with these programs that they let you, the mile equivalent is less than, say, buying a business class or a first class ticket if you're purchasing it with miles. Sometimes, if you value those miles at, let's say, $0.015 a point, it actually comes to a fair bit less in dollars rather than if you were paying cash for that same ticket. It's more common with the business and first class than coach class tickets. The credit card tie-ins, I think that is a big part of it. I agree with that. All right, so Bitcoin. How did Bitcoin go from 14 wallet addresses and a market cap of 0 at the beginning of 2009 to over $1 trillion US today? So they started small, and they have about 46 million wallet addresses now with at least $1 in them. So from 14 to 46 million is a big jump. Of course, it's a lot fewer than Facebook. But does your nonprofit accept donations of appreciated stocks and or cryptocurrency? Would your nonprofit have accepted a $1,000 Bitcoin donation in April 2016 or April 2010? What has contributed the most to the growth in Bitcoin users? So far, we've got a pretty good range of answers here. What's helped them grow users? Is it their community of supporters? Decentralized ledger, increase in price? The SEC ETF approvals, transacting without a third party, or transparency? So it's a pretty wide range of answers. All right, let's move on here, and I'll start sharing my screen again. I covered that already. Here's the market capitalization of Bitcoin. It's an older slide. It's actually it went down a little bit and then back up to previous highs. All right, how did Bitcoin go from 14 wallet addresses and a market cap of 0 at the beginning of 2009 to over $1 billion or $1 trillion today? All right, so we talked about what helped Bitcoin grow user base, but what's been some of its shortcomings? What has hindered Bitcoin from becoming more widely adopted? So difficulty of use, environmental concerns, price volatility, slow transaction speed, something else. So we'll leave this up here. All right, so which behaviors does Bitcoin motivate people to do? Buy mining equipment and use electricity, make philanthropic donations, save currency, hodl, hold on for dear life, or something else. Again, you can actually pick multiple choices here. Some of you said buy mining equipment and use electricity. That's how all Bitcoin is mined. You know, people have computers. Started out on desktop computers, but now it's very specialized computer hardware that's used for a few years and then thrown away, creating e-waste. As the price of Bitcoin goes up, more and more electricity is used because they make the puzzle harder and harder to solve because more people are trying to solve it because the money is motivating them to try to mine Bitcoin. We discussed, I think, on our quiz, there's been $2 billion of philanthropic donations of crypto. It's actually, Ethereum is more commonly donated than Bitcoin, believe it or not. But there has been some significant Bitcoin donations as well to philanthropic causes. A lot of people should be familiar with HODL. That's the motto of the Bitcoin community. Hold on for dear life. If users stop using Bitcoin, the price goes down. If more users come in and start using it, the price goes up. Some of you said something else. All right. So moving on here, we already did our session 3, right? So am I correct on that? I think I am. And so do we want to do a whiteboard on that? Quick whiteboard here. The question is, you know, what's made Bitcoin successful? What has held it back? What can we learn from Bitcoin?
Matt, so something that is there, not there in the options, and what I feel is, and I also mentioned it in the room, is it is also the need of the hour in 2009 that made Bitcoin popular and made it reachable to a lot of people. Because even before Bitcoin that came in 2009, there were cryptographic currencies and experiments that happened since 1994, since we got access to internet. But they never they didn't fly, or they didn't take off. The reason being, people are less interested at that particular point of time. But what happened in 2008 kind of made people rethink about their financial system, and more adopters or more and more supporters for Bitcoin started mining it and did the initial.
So you said the financial crisis. Is that what you're saying? You think that motivated people?
That could be one of the triggers as well.
You know, one thing I find interesting with Bitcoin is they say they publicized it ahead of time, right? To be fair to everyone, to give everyone a chance to be an early adopter. But when they started in January of 2009, there was only 14 Bitcoin wallet addresses. So it's pretty amazing. They started, you know, very small, but I do know you're right, and you may know more of the history even than I do. But there were a lot of discussions ongoing. You know, there was some different electronic cash experiments well prior to Bitcoin, like you said, going back to the 1990s. And I think, yeah, maybe they felt like, hey, now's the time's right. You know, we see the vulnerability of the financial system. We see that it was on the brink of collapse. What would happen if it did collapse? Is there's, you know, some sort of alternative system that we could have? So yeah, I think that's a great point that you make there. So we have a few other things: regulatory questions, illegal in China, quantum computing attacks in the 2030s, tax and regulations, peer-to-peer transactions. So yeah, peer-to-peer, you know, no third party. I think those are all whale behavior. So Brian, what do you mean by whale behavior? Just the influence that they have on price, or what are you kind of referring to?
Well, for thinly held cryptocurrencies, or ones that, let's say, are asymmetrically held, these whales that have a whole lot of currency, at some point, you know, they can potentially cash out. This can have a huge effect on these markets. And, you know, you have to wonder in what cases is there, I mean, the whole industry suffers from what amounts to a certain amount of greed when it comes to, you know, the guys that are like pumping up a currency and then dumping it, or, you know, getting rid of it, things like that. So
Sure.
that's a common problem, I guess.
Sure.
And then,
yeah.
so these whales have a lot of crypto, and, you know, maybe
Yeah.
it's less of a problem with Bitcoin, but you know, it's certainly still a concern.
Bitcoin's still pretty concentrated in a lot of respects. I mean, like 3/4 of the Bitcoin was mined in 2009 and 2010, I believe, and no, most people had never heard of it at that point. So it got concentrated. Now, you know, some of those people have probably sold and diversified a little bit out of it, despite the hodl mono. Yeah, some good points there. I'm going to start sharing my screen again, and because we need to keep it moving. We're a little tight on time here. I apologize for that, but let's we had that whiteboard, and so let's turn towards an impact currency, because I hope by now people realize there is, you know, a lot of money in currencies. It can influence behavior, right? Influence people's behavior. It can transfer wealth, you know, transfer purchasing power. And if you look at a currency like, you know, Bitcoin or the euro, even, it unites people, right? And it gives them some common connections. There's all sorts of crypto conventions around the world that people go to. They meet each other there. I think the euro's given a sense of identity. You know, yes, people think they're Italian and French and whatnot, but they also think they're European, and I think having a common currency helps with that. So what are the benefits of a community creating their own currency? What characteristics would your ideal philanthropic currency have? So we talked about, you know, I touched on these already, you know, redistributing purchasing power. Rising currency helps people. If you look at third world countries, they tend to suffer from currencies that go down in value even more than the dollar, which also has gone down in purchasing power since, you know, particularly since going off the gold standard in the 1970s. And influence behavior. People, you know, mine Bitcoin, they earn and spend airline miles. Does anyone know of a really successful philanthropic currency? Yeah, there's a few gift cards and this, that, and the next out there, but I think there's a lot more potential. All right, so communities can move beyond flagging economies. All right, and maybe I can jump in. One of the big things here is collaborating together as opposed to competing for grants, increasing the philanthropic pie. Just like Bitcoin increased the cryptocurrency pie, alternative currency pie. So cryptocurrency provides a medium of exchange, unit of account, store of value. So that's, yeah, common of not just cryptocurrencies, but government currencies as well. Economic empowerment. Nice. I agree with that. what do you guys think in terms of price? Should philanthropic currency be day traded like Bitcoin, or should it just everyone gets the same price on the same day and has a much steadier price?
I thought Bitcoin, everyone gets the same price on the same day.
What do you mean?
Well, within, I mean, there are intraday variations, but is that really critical? I mean, it seems like it's the long-term changes that are going to make a big difference. And
yeah,
I think
obviously Bitcoin, it can be $1,000 difference in price in an hour, 10 minutes even. I mean, the price can move quite a bit. You know, so you have people trading it, hoping just to play the momentum, to, you know, catch an uptrend or a downtrend.
how do you distinguish between that and random noise? I mean, you know, on a short time scale, is there anything to it other than a greater fool theory or, you know, Gaussian distribution?
To Bitcoin, I believe actually their community. So I've owned Bitcoin in the past. I don't own any currently. I basically didn't like the increasing energy use. I did sell it profitably. I think Bitcoin could go to 100,000. It could go to 1 million. I don't see it going to zero anytime soon, particularly with the SEC approval of ETFs. It could go down. It could go to 20,000, could go to 10,000, could go to 5,000. I'd like to see that because that'll mean less energy use. But I do believe there's something to be said for the limited supply, right? You know, the US dollar doesn't have a limited supply. You don't know how many dollars are going to be created, where Bitcoin, at least the protocol, is committed to a limited supply, right? So I think that's actually a strong point of Bitcoin. And I think they have a really strong community of supporters who are self-interested people. You know, they own it. They, you know, get long, get loud. It applies to the stock market also. You know, pump up and promote what you already hold, you know? So, you know, I think there's still appeals with Bitcoin for being non-governmental. You know, it's harder for governments to control it because no individual person controls Bitcoin. You know, so there's a decentralized nature there. So I think it's more than just a greater fool's theory. Unless you think the dollar is a greater fool's theory, or any fiat currency is just, you know, for fools. You know, and you could make a case for that. All the fiat currencies have gone down in purchasing power. That's what inflation is. In fact, they're designed to go down in purchasing power, right? You know, each year the Fed wants the dollar to lose 2 or 3% in purchasing power. It's called inflation. That's their target inflation, 2 to 3%. So, you know, so Bitcoin is actually not designed to go down in value. Brian, go ahead. You got your hand up.
Well, if the goal of impact currency is to build natural capital, then we should try to measure it. And if we measure that natural capital, then we could offer proof of plant, where instead of proof of work or proof of stake, we're actually providing evidence of having regenerated some primary.
I really agree with that on a lot of levels. I'm going to say it's hard. And that's not initially what donor money's doing, but long term, that's kind of what we want to tie into. I see that it's 10:30 right now, so we are at time. I want to run through some slides here. So I'm going to start sharing again and try to wrap this up fairly quickly. We're trying to create a fair, regenerative, and resilient local and global communities that prioritize human well-being. That's impact ecosystem, right? There's lots of different tools we can use to do that. And I'll share these slides with everyone so you don't have to take too much down now. But nonprofit support is what we're starting with in a lot of respects. And those nonprofits will be doing a lot of the things on this list here. So in my mind, the problem is that money is an underutilized tool for good. You know, money can be used to currency design can be used to influence behavior and redistribute purchasing power and unite people. And I don't think we have a philanthropic currency that's designed optimally for that. So solution phase 1 of donor money combines the best elements of philanthropic gift cards and also innovative ideas in local communities. So next steps are view a demo of donor money. That's available at demo.donormoney.com or demo.donor.money. Inquire about joining our advisory board. Advisory board members meet 1 hour monthly. We'll make a recording available for people who can't make the live meeting. Each board of advisory members should follow up with a comment insight on at least one issue raised. It should take maybe about 30 minutes a month of your time on that. And each board of advisor member will receive $4,000 worth of donor coin per month to be donated to an NGO of their choice. Participate in International Family Day. That's online. We're having an event May 15th. And here is a link to demo.donor.money. You can scan on this QR code link. If you put in your email address, we'll send you a one-time password. You can create your account from that. We are going live April 22nd. So Earth Day, we're going live with this. So basically, to give you a real quick overview of donor money, it's a philanthropic gift card currency that in essence is going to multiply philanthropic donations. How does it do that? The main premise is supporters and donors purchase the donor money from the nonprofit. At Impact Ecosystem, we don't handle any cash. So we donate donor money to the nonprofit. Supporters purchase it from the nonprofit and they donate it to another nonprofit or impact cause. So we can make grants to not just nonprofits and not just US nonprofits. We can do it to international impact companies and nonprofits. A US person or whoever can purchase that from the impact organization, and then they can donate it to a nonprofit in their country and get the tax write-off. Obviously, that involves both organizations being part of donor money, which we hope everyone will be. We're going to have a limited supply. 20 million donor money coins are the maximum supply. We're going to control that supply so that the price goes up. It stays steady, and as we get more users, it goes up. We set the price on donor money, and everyone who participates agrees to sell it for that price. You can also give it away to other nonprofits. So if we give you a grant and you're working with partners or would like to work with partners, we will, have you can make a grant to them of the donor money. So we expand our network that way. Our goal initially is to get more people using donor money. The more people that use donor money with the limited supply will allow us to raise the price, and we'll have the price go up. So that's our goal. So really simple. Supporters purchase it and donate it. So instead of a philanthropic gift card that's just one-time transaction, this actually creates two transactions. Instead of a donation being a single one-off donation, it's a purchase and then a donation. So it creates a more circular philanthropic economy. So supporters are purchasing, donating, and that's creating a circular philanthropic economy. I appreciate everyone who stayed all the way till the end. I know we went a little bit over time. I'm happy to stay here if anyone has questions. If you have to jump or if you've already jumped, thank you for attending. And if anyone has questions, but sign up, we'll follow up with you. You can book meetings with us. I want to thank the team at Impact Ecosystem. Our team's grown quite a bit this past year. So I want to thank everyone who helped out there with this event. And we have another event in about, so we have a few questions here. Which Invest in Earth Day themes would you like to explore more? Money is a powerful tool because most people use it. How can we overcome our cultural immunity system to improve ourselves? How can nonprofits be as innovative as for-profits? How can donor money increase collaboration to grow the philanthropic pie? How can we optimize donor money to positively influence behavior? Do you agree with regarding Invest in Earth Day? Was it a good use of your time? And again, you can actually do multiple answers on this. So these are, you don't have to just pick one, you can pick. That's where you were last year too, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I know a lot of times it's hard finding events that are targeted for Australia. So that was one reason we did 2 sessions. So that you know, we could give people from India sort of a morning or an evening option. Australia, we hit some daytime there. And I think some of the US people, I saw a few people from Africa. That's really like late night, early morning there. Couple people from different parts of the US, which was actually late. I know it, for me, it's almost 11 o'clock now. Yeah, Sean, Abhishek, thank you guys. Hitachi, thank you as well. I don't see Rima, but Rima, oh, there she is. She helped quite a bit with this.
Seeing new faces from the Bangalore team who's come here early morning today, and would love to connect with the Indian team more often and work with them and explore, like, you know, offline events or work with them closely. And yeah, and all the new members who are out there, thanks for attending this for the first time. Looking forward to more of these events, more of a monthly ritual going ahead where we can announce monthly targets and things going ahead. So thanks again, guys, everyone. And thanks, Matt. Thank you for making this event happen.
I forgot to add, we'll have to get this out to everyone in the notes, is the May 15th event's a more public-facing collaborative event. And the idea is for nonprofits to invite their supporters, and it's a family, International Family Day. So I think it ties in, families tie into all the issues of the nonprofits, not just environmental issues, social issues, economic issues. And they're all interrelated. And so that event will sort of be covering all the issues, and we'll focus a little more on donor money, people who participate in that event. Each participant from your nonprofit, that each one of your supporters will give an extra donation to your nonprofit with the donor money. So it's going to be a collaborative event that we're hoping that everyone who participates promotes it as well. We'll get as much information out to people as we can, and thanks a lot, and have a good rest of your day or a good sleep.
Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure to host you guys here for this event, and thank you very much for your time. It would be, of great value all of you have added here, and we look forward to more sessions like these. Thank you very much. And the next session, you're all welcome to join again. That is in 10 hours from now. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.